What's going on, y'all, man? Just another tap talk. Let me put my glasses on. Mr. Professor. Um, I was just thinking about something that I was taking a few tokes. Yeah. Oh, nah, on a serious note though. So I've been watching this show called Humans, right? And it's very similar. I don't know what came first because there's a video game for PS4 called Detroit Become Humans. I love that game. Um, and then this shows basically the show kind of corresponds with the game in a way. Basically, we reached the point where we made synthetic AI robots, right? And that look human and stuff like that do our work, almost like the Matrix scenario, right? And then eventually they became conscious and start to be more like humans, right? So naturally, the obvious surface things are we get to see the disgusting things we do if people are willing to let us and stuff like that. Obviously, these robots having to experience that. Obviously, they never had a conscience or anything like that before, so they're doing what their purpose to. But once they become a conscious, it's kind of like you get to see how long-term abuse and the nastiness of human beings, right, can affect another person. Because eventually, once they regain consciousness, they start to have the human experience. And only an experience, throughout experience will, change their personalities and define them. Just like us, when we're born, from babies until now, it's our experiences that we had when we were younger that define us, that define the type of adults we're going to be, right? So this show and the game are just like that, where it's like these robots are being born, they're having these experiences, and what's going on around. Obviously, they're born into a world where they're going to have hate because they're a new group. Naturally, history has shown every time there's been a new group of people to come into a space, we always show hatefulness towards them. I think because remember when the Chinese came over, we had to build the railroads and stuff like that. Remember all the racial jokes we had against the Chinese, and we were banning them and stuff like that. And then we did the same thing with when the Jamaicans came over. Did the same thing with the Haitians came over and stuff like that in Miami and all that. So it's just like each new ethnic group that get introduced to like a large population obviously gets rejected at first, and so a lot of these robots being born, are coming into consciousness. They all have different experiences. And like I said, like the surface stuff, we already see just how nasty we are. But then I really thought about something. And, and they said the guy built them, because you would think because they're robots, and they're trained to do everything a lot more perfect than we are, right? But it's just like, I feel like that level of that perception of perfection. What's ironic is the fact that them becoming conscious and trying to be more like us, at least during this time period, it almost actually degraded them in a way. They took away that level of, let's just say they took away that level of perfection, that they were at. And I say that because now that they got a conscience, a lot of them are going to become like us. And we're such a divided species already, right? So if you take AI robots who are, built to be perfect and do all the things that we can't do, and you make them conscious, now, they're kind of more like us. So what do you think is going to happen with them? They're all going to have different experiences, opinions, become different people. And then, based on their experience in the world, right? And because they're like newborn babies at this point. They just grown newborn babies, but they're like new to the world, so they got to learn about the world and formulate their own personality now, right? Instead of the one that they were built with, formulate their own personality and basically be a reflection of us. So if we're divisive between us and have different fractions and stuff like that, what do you think they're going to do? They're basically emulating us. So naturally, over time, their own kind is going to be, self-destructive to their own, because we're self-destructive to our own, which is the ironic part, and that's just something I was thinking about. Like, damn, like, why are we trying to pursue that when, We don't even got it together. I think the best time for us to build something like that will be when we could be a reflection of the things we make. Just how we strive to be, we haven't even strived to be a reflection of our creator, right? Those that believe in, like, for people that believe in Christianity or whatever, whoever they feel created us, right? Be, monsters, gods, whatever. We struggle to be a reflection of them. So what makes us think that we could build something to be a reflection of us, but better? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you're not going to be able to live up to that. Like, and that's the crazy part. So we're trying to build something to be a reflection of us, and we're not even perfect. We can't even be a reflection of our creators. You know what I'm saying? So we're just passing that along to something new. Crazy, right? Like I said, it's just something I was just thinking about, man. Us, as Virgos like the thing on the macro spectrum. Sometimes, we're very, we have a lot of humanity in us. So yeah, just from like a human perspective, though, I think that's kind of interesting that we do that we're striving, or we fantasize about creating the perfect beings. But then it's like we have shows that tells us the downfalls of that look at all the perspective, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? Which is like, I like watching these shows. I like watching shows that give, different scenarios on, okay, if we were to do this, here go the good parts of that, and here go the bad parts of that. Here go the stuff that could come over time, but before we even get there, we gotta go through all the bad shit. The fighting, the killing, the rejection, the reform, and all that shit. Like, we're going through that now as a country. There's a lot of reform, and we're faced to look at ourselves and the monsters that we created in this country, and we're slowly making changes. At least we're becoming more conscious of it now. Now it's just given the time and get over that hump and really implement those changes. So I think that's just the nature of us as human beings. Sometimes we gotta reflect and look at our own nature, and then, be honest about the good and bad sides. And I think that's what's wrong with this country now. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to look. They don't want to be honest. This country doesn't want to be honest with itself, and change the history. And, they change the history, so they keep believing in the lie instead of just peeling the Band-Aid off and just have, and live in this country's truth, and then make reforms, and like, when they say the truth should set you free, there you go. This country admitted its own truths, it'll set us free, and we'll be able to change and reform. But shit, when that time will come, who knows? We got a lot of theories on that, depending on which religion you ask about it. But yeah, man, something I was thinking about, though.